Hello, everybody. It's me, Anthony, and it's the time of the week again. It's Anthony's NFL Picks. Week 16, the Christmas special. Heard me right, we are in the 16th week of the NFL. This season is flying by quickly, and also, this is a Christmas special because Sunday is Christmas Eve and then Monday is Christmas Day. And we got some good, and I got a good gift as a football fan right now, and I'm pleasured to, say these games, and, we have a great game Monday night. We're going to get to that soon. But last week, coming into week 16, I did so much better than I did in week 14. Now my record's 143 and 81. I am cruising by, and this season is going by quickly. And note, after week 18 for the playoffs, these videos are going to be a little bit shorter and shorter because there's less teams playing. Anyways, enough with the intro. Let's jump right in. Coming up with our first game for Thursday Night Football, we got the 7-7. You got the 7-7 Saints and the 7-7 Rams. The battle of the 7-7s. Saints are here after beating the Giants 24-6. Derek Carr is looking great, but however, Chris Olave is not playing. He is hurt with an ankle injury. That's a huge disadvantage for the Saints, and the Rams are here after unfortunately beating the Commanders and knocking them out of the playoffs. But we'll get to them later. Rams are healthy this season, and my dad said, "Oh yeah, when the Rams are healthy, they're a really good team," and he's right, actually. It's in LA, though, but I'm taking the Rams over the Saints over this game. Rams will beat the Saints 27-24. Rams will be 9-7. The Saints will be going on to be 7-8. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got two Saturday games this week. We have an AFC North matchup between the 8-6 Bengals and the 7-7 Steelers. Bengals are here after winning against the Vikings in that crazy overtime win, 27-24, because Nick Mullins started instead of Joshua Dobbs, which was pretty stupid, but I ain't complaining though. The Bengals have been really good with Jake Browning, and, I think he's going to make a big improvement. However, they're going to Pittsburgh against the Steelers, who are starting Mason Rudolph after Mitch Trubisky was just being terrible, and he's not a good quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. He's terrible. I don't even know why they would start him in the first place. You should have just started with Mason Rudolph instead. Mitch Trubisky is terrible. I don't like him. But to be honest, I might think I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to win this game, and I think they're going to have 9 wins by now. Because the Steelers are a lot banged up. They have a lot of injuries. It's just not looking good for Pittsburgh fans out there. Bengals will beat the Steelers 24-21. Bengals will be 9-6. Steelers will be 7-8. We'll be moving on with our next game. Coming up next for Saturday Night Football, we got the hot 8-6 Bills and the 5-9 Chargers. Bills are here after demolishing the Cowboys at home 31-10. They've been playing really good ever since they lost to the Eagles. I think it's a wake-up call for Buffalo to, keep winning games. They're a good team, Buffalo, and I think they could, possibly win the division, but Miami's also very competitive too. Josh Allen's been looking pretty good. The entire team is looking better, but however, they have a lot of injuries though, but they're getting through it like champions. And I think they could go to a Super Bowl this year. I don't know. But anyway, they're going to LA against the Chargers, who got completely destroyed Thursday Night Football, 63-21. And that was so bad. That Chargers got blown out so badly that Brendan Staley lost his job. Chargers fired Brendan Staley the day after the loss, and I knew it was going to happen the day after. And to be honest, I'm thinking that the Bills are going to knock the Chargers out of the playoffs. The Chargers are still in the playoff race somehow. But I'm going to go with the Bills on this one. Bills will beat the Chargers 29-14. Bills will be 9-6. Chargers will be 5-10. We move on with the next game. Coming up with our next game, we got my 4-10 Commanders and the 5-9 Jets. My Commanders, I'm really upset right now. My Commanders were knocked out of the playoffs at 4-10. I know, it was really tough with the Rams, and, that whole team needs to rebuild. We need defense, like big time. We need a big defense, and I want Ron Rivera fired by this season. I'm really hoping Ron Rivera will lose his job, and if he does, I'll be so happy. He does not know how to coach a football team, and everybody's making a big fuss about him coaching the Panthers and making them to the Super Bowl. I don't care about that. I don't want Ron Rivera as a coach anymore. He does not know how to do anything. We haven't gone anywhere since he was a coach. But now we're going to New York against the Jets, who completely crashed and got eliminated from playoff contention as well, and even getting shut out by the Dolphins 30-0. And Zach Wilson had a bad injury. To be honest, I might go with the Jets on this one. I think they're at home and they're in MetLife. I think they're gonna fly through the Commanders and just knock them out. Jets will beat the Commanders 28-14. Jets will be 6-9. Commanders will be 4-11. We will be moving on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an NFC North matchup between the 10-4 Lions and the 7-7 Vikings. Lions are here after demolishing the Broncos, making them look like the Nathaniel Hackett coached them. 42-10. They were playing an amazing offense. Jared Goff was looking better. David Montgomery's looking good. Amar St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, Jeff Reynolds. That team is special. And I'm thinking that they're going to beat the Vikings because the Vikings are here after choking that game against the Bengals on Saturday, and Nick Mullins is probably going to be the starter from the rest of the season, which is a pretty stupid decision because I don't know why they would not do it with Joshua Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs is a good quarterback, and, they never gave him a shot, so I'm thinking I'm going to go with the Lions. But however, it's Minnesota, and the Lions never beat the Vikings in Minnesota since 2017. That's when I started watching football, fun fact. I was 11 years old. But to be honest, I might have to go with the Lions. Lions will beat the Vikings 27-17. Lions will be 11-4. Vikings will be 7-8. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got a really good game. We got the surprising 9-5 Browns and the 8-6 Texans. Both teams are coming off big wins. Browns, they're here after knocking out the Bears by 3 points. Joe Flacco got off the couch and now is playing quarterback with the Browns, and he has been doing outstanding. And he was named the starter for the rest of the season. I think they can make the playoffs. They're 9-5. However, there's a big challenge against the Texans, and the Texans won that game in overtime against the Titans, knocking them out 19-16 because the Titans blew the game, and I thought the Texans were going to lose that game because they didn't have C.J. Stroud out with a concussion. They have a lot of injuries still. Nico Collins is questionable. Tank Dell's out for the whole season with a fibula injury. But I'm going to go with the Texans because the Texans played great without Stroud, and I think he's going to come back. Case Keenum and Davis Mills played quarterback from time to time, but I think C.J. Stroud's going to be back, and I think they're going to keep going. This will be a good game, though, so I'm going to go with the Texans because I have a home field advantage. Texans will beat the Browns 33-30. Texans will be 9-6. The Browns will also be 9-6. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 6-8 Packers and the 2-12 Panthers. Packers are here after losing against Tampa Bay, getting beaten down by them. They looked really bad, and I thought they were going to be good this season, but, they don't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. I wouldn't expect them to get 6 wins by now. I am very shocked, though, but, they're going to take on the worst team at 2-12, the Panthers, who surprisingly beat the Falcons 9-7. It was a very sloppy game. They ended up winning the game by that because the Falcons that team has always seemed to be choking, and they just can't seem to get to lead, so I might have to go with the Packers on this one. Packers will beat the Panthers 20-13. Packers will be 7-8. Panthers will be 2-13. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 7-7 Seahawks and the 5-9 Titans. Seahawks are here after winning yesterday in that crazy Monday night game. They beat the Eagles 20-17. Mainly due to Jalen Hurts being, having the stomach flu, I think. I think he was playing with the stomach flu. They were winning when I went to bed. It was 7-0, and then after that, they just lost the game somehow. They blew it. And that's not good for being a Eagles fan out there, losing 3 straight. But anyway, the Seahawks, they're trying to keep their playoff season alive, and that was a must-win against the Eagles, and they won that game. And I think they're going to beat the Titans because the Titans, Will Levis could be out because he suffered a very bad ankle injury in that crazy overtime loss against the Texans. Titans are also eliminated from playoff contention, though, and I think they're going to get their 10th loss of this season because I think Seattle's going to beat them, even though it's in Tennessee. Seahawks will beat the Titans 19-3. Seahawks will be 8-7. Titans will be 5-10. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 8-6 Colts and the 6-8 Falcons. Colts are here after winning against the Steelers and knocking them out. Gardner Minshew is doing really good as quarterback, and I thought the Colts were going to be bad without Anthony Richardson. And I think he's doing a fair job. I think Jonathan Taylor may be coming back this weekend, so I think they're going to beat the Falcons because the Falcons are here after blowing that game against the Panthers, losing to the worst team in the NFL, which is by far the most funniest thing of all season. Panthers' only wins were against the Falcons and the Texans. It is kind of sad being a Panthers fan, though, but I might have to go with the Colts. This is going to be a good game, though. I'm thinking the Colts are going to win this round, and I think they could secure a playoff spot. I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. Colts will beat the Falcons 26-23. Colts will be 9-6. The Falcons will be 6-9. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got a Florida game between the 8-6 Jaguars and the 7-7 Buccaneers. Jaguars are here after getting blown out on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens, pecking them to death 27-3. Jacksonville had nothing to do, and Trevor Lawrence is still questionable for being good, and, Christian Kirk is still out with a groin injury. It's just not looking good for the Jaguars. But however, they're going to be away now in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers, who completely demolished Green Bay, and Baker Mayfield's starting to look a bit better, and they're fighting for first place in that NFC South team. They're the Saints, and there's the Saints and the Falcons. I thought we're gonna be 7-7. Now they're 6-8. So that's gonna be a tough game. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. I think the Jaguars are gonna end their losing streak and finally knock down the Buccaneers. Jaguars will beat the Buccaneers 31-22. Jaguars will be 9-6. Buccaneers will be 7-8. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got a really good game. We got the battle of the fraud teams, according to my dad, because my dad said, "Oh yeah, I think the Cowboys and the Dolphins aren't for real." Well, this is a good game. We got the 10-4 Cowboys and the 10-4 Dolphins, the battle of the 10-4 teams. Both teams, they are coming back from a win and a loss. The Cowboys are coming back after getting demolished at Buffalo against the Bills, because the Bills are a good team now. They always play good after their bye week. Now they're 8-6. But anyway, the Cowboys, they're not looking that great either. But the Dolphins are also here after shutting out the Jets 30-0. The Jets are absolute caca. That team is just so bad. Even ever since I was 11, the Jets were always this bad, The Jets were always never this good, so I might have to go with the Cowboys, but my father said it's Dolphins, so I might have to go with Dallas on this one. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game. The Cowboys already have a playoff spot. They already clinched, so I think they're going to be winning this game. Cowboys will beat the Dolphins 37-34. Cowboys will be 11-4. Dolphins will be 10-5. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the battle of the tank. We got the 3-11 Cardinals and the 5-9 Bears. Cardinals are here after getting demolished by San Francisco 45-29. That team is really struggling with Kyler Murray, and I think he's going to probably get released. I think that they're going to get Caleb Williams or something like that, or Drake May in the draft. I don't know yet. But they're going on to Chicago against the Bears, who almost beat Cleveland, but just couldn't hold on. And the Bears somehow have 5 wins, apparently. And I think they could get their 6th win. I think Matt Eberflus, however, I don't know about him keeping his job, though, but I'm going to have to go with the Bears. The Bears are at home. They have a home field advantage at Soldier Field. Justin Fields is looking a bit better. DJ Moore is feeling a little bit better. I think the Bears are going to pull this one off. Bears will beat the Cardinals 24-18. I forgot to mention that the Cardinals are also eliminated from playoff contention, if anybody was wondering, or if you already know, because that Cardinals team is just bad. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. Bears will now be 6-9. Cardinals will be 3-12. We move on with the next game. Coming up next for Christmas Eve, we got kind of a rotten gift on Christmas Eve for Sunday Night Football. It's a bit of a crappy game because we got the 3-11 Patriots and the 7-7 Broncos. Patriots are here after losing to Kansas City 27-19, I think, was the score. I don't really remember, though, but the Patriots completely lost that game. They were winning most of the time, and then all of a sudden, they just decided, just to decline, and now they're going on to Denver against the angry 7-7 Broncos, who got completely destroyed by the Lion defense on Saturday. That's kind of a huge decision to make, but I'm thinking that the Broncos are going to finally regroup and pull off a win on here. Broncos will beat the Patriots 29-10. Broncos will be 8-7. The Patriots will be 3-12. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got Monday games. This is the Christmas Day games. We open off with an AFC West matchup between the 6-8 Raiders and the 9-5 Chiefs. Raiders are here after demolishing the Chargers last Thursday night, 37-63-21. That Raiders team is looking a bit better with Aiden O'Connell and Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. That team is looking special. However, the big challenge is they're going to be in Kansas City for Christmas, and the Chiefs are here after winning against the Patriots in a must-win situation. I might have to go with the Chiefs. I think in Kansas City is going to pull off another victory and sweep the Raiders this season. Kansas City will beat the Raiders 28-21. And by the way, Isaiah Pacheco may return finally after suffering that bad shoulder injury in Green Bay. So I'm thinking Kansas City is going to pull off this win 28-21. Chiefs will be 10-5. The Raiders will be 6-9. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an NFC East matchup between the 5-9 Giants and the 10-4 Eagles. Giants are here after losing against the Saints, and I'm glad they lost because my dad was talking so much smack about, oh yeah, I think Tommy Cutlets is gonna probably beat the Saints. He completely backfired, and the Giants ended up getting demolished by them 24-6, losing that game. But Tommy DeVito also suffered a concussion, which is not good, though. And the Eagles are here after blowing that game against Seattle yesterday. They were winning when I went to sleep. It was 7-0 Eagles. And I think the Eagles are playing angry. They lost 3 straight, and I think they're going to finally regroup, and I think they're going to beat down the Giants into the ground. Eagles will beat the Giants 31-7. The Eagles will be 11-4. Giants will be 5-10. We move on with our next game. And last but not least for this week, to open off Christmas night, to end Christmas, we got a really good game. This is the possible Super Bowl 58 matchup or a Super Bowl 47 rematch because we got the battle of the best teams in the NFL are playing each other on Christmas night. It's the 11-3 Ravens and the 11-3 49ers. 2 of the best teams in each conference. This is going to be a really good game on Christmas night. The Ravens are here after winning against the Jaguars. However, the Ravens running back is hurt for the entire season after tearing an ACL tear. But I'm thinking that the 49ers are going to probably knock down the Ravens because the Niners are playing great and they beat the Cardinals. They won their division. They're back-to-back division champions. They're 5-0 in their division. The 49ers look like a very dangerous team, and I'm thinking that they're going to smack the Ravens by a close game, though. It's going to be a really good game, though. I think the 49ers are going to win this game 44-41. The Niners will go on to be 12-3. The Ravens will be 11-4. And that is it for this week, everybody. These were my NFL picks for Week 16. Tune in for next week for Anthony's NFL picks Week 17, which will be premiering next Tuesday, December 26th. This is Anthony signing off, and have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Have a great weekend and a great Christmas.